My name is Alyssa Moon, and I'm going to be speaking about communication in personal relationships. We have personal relationships in our lives, but on a day-to-day basis, we interact more with social relationships. Examples of social relationships would be the way that professors interact with students, the way that bosses interact with employees, the way that bus drivers interact with bus riders. So social relationships are, more likely to be encountered on a day-to-day basis. Social relationships can be even, when you're checking out groceries at the grocery store. That's a social relationship with you interacting with the person that is checking out your groceries. So we encounter those kind of relationships more often than deep personal relationships. Personal relationships are relationships that are more intense, more intimate, that involve, more passion. Examples of personal relationships would be a husband and wife, a parent and child, and close friendships. So with personal relationships, there are two aspects that we want to look at. The first one being commitment. In a personal relationship, it takes commitment, which is the decision to remain with the relationship. So you are making a decision within yourself that you are going to stick with the relationship, that you are going to, that this is forever. This is something that you are going to stick with, and you are committed to that. The second aspect would be investment, which is how much we are willing to put into a relationship. With personal relationships, we invest our time, our energy, our effort into those relationships because we care about them. The difference with social relationships and personal relationships and investment, you are less likely to invest a lot of time and effort into someone that you speak with for 5 minutes on a bus ride rather than, a child that you live in the home with, or a spouse, or a close friend that you speak with every single day about, more personal things. In every personal relationship, there are three types of relationship dialects that are opposing and continued tensions in all personal relationships. So we're going to speak on the three tensions. The first one being autonomy/connection, which is the desire to be separate on one hand and connected on the other. We always want to be connected to people that we're in personal relationships with, but we also have a desire at the same time to have something that is just ours, that is for ourselves, which is wanting to be separate from that person. The second would be the novelty/predictability, which is the desire for familiar routines and the desire for novelty. So we all have a desire for stability, familiar routines, getting up, going to work every day. That is, something familiar to us, that we feel safe and stable with that. We feel safe and stable with the same routine with our spouse. But we also have a desire for novelty. We want spontaneous. We don't want to be bored with our familiar routines every day. The third dialect would be the openness/closedness, which is the desire to be open with someone, yet the desire for privacy. This is likely, in any kind of personal relationship. With friendships, with a significant other, we have a desire to be open. We want to tell them things. We want them to tell us things, but we also have certain things that we want to keep to ourselves. We want to have privacy. We want to feel like we don't have to share if we don't want to with every situation. There are 4 different ways to deal with these tensions. The first way being neutralization, which is striking a compromise where both needs are met. So, in any tension situation, we can be neutral and we can say that we're going to meet each other's needs in a certain way. Even if we have to compromise that way, we're both satisfied with the outcome of the situation. The second way to deal with the tensions is separation, which addresses one need and ignores the other. So that would mean that within the tensions, that there is one need that is going to be met, say with openness and closedness. If we're going to go with separation, then we're going to say, okay, I'm going to be open with you, and I'm going to put aside, my need for privacy so that I can satisfy this other need for openness. We could deal with the tension through segmentation, which is where we assign each role to certain issues, activities, and times. We could say, you know, I'm going to set aside time for myself at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we're going to have a late lunch together, and then we're going to talk about our day, and we're going to talk about every issue that we want to talk about at that time. We could also deal with these tensions by reframing, which is to interpret, you know, each thing as not being a tension at all. So it's basically when you're reframing, you are just accepting, you know, that you want to be open, you're accepting that you want to be closed, and you're saying there's not going to be any tension with it. We're just going to deal with it. So these are different things that we encounter, you know, every day in personal relationships. All of these tensions, you know, don't really apply to social relationships, but we do have, you know, personal relationships with family. We have personal relationships with spouses. And these are things that we encounter on a day-to-day basis. Very good. You can stop now. I'm going to scan the room again.
Mine cut off in the middle.
Scan.